Let me ask you something. What if the most effective way to lose belly fat had nothing to do with the gym, nothing to do with counting calories, and nothing to do with giving up the food you love? In Okinawa, Japan, one of the world's 5 blue zones, people live past 100 with almost no visceral fat. And here is what's fascinating. They don't do extreme workouts, they don't count macros, they don't even think about dieting. So what do they do? Today, I'm going to share 5 simple Okinawan habits that specifically target visceral fat, that dangerous hidden fat wrapped around your organs. And the best part? These habits work whether you are 35 or 75, whether you are a busy professional or enjoying retirement. No gym membership, no dieting plan, just a different way of living. Stay with me until the end because habit number 5 is the one that changed everything for me, and you can start it today. Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm your go-to health coach and also a culinary medicine coach. Here, I share tips on nutrition, mindset, and healthy habits. First, let's quickly understand why visceral fat is so different from the fat you can pinch. Visceral fat hides deep inside your body, wrapped around your liver, your stomach, your intestines. You can't see it, but it is the most dangerous type of fat because it actively releases inflammatory chemicals that can increase your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even certain cancers. The frustrating part, you could look relatively slim and still carry visceral fat. It is not about how you look, it is about what is inside your body. So, when I study how Okinawans naturally keep their visceral fat so low, I found 5 habits that work together like a system. And that is the key. It is not random tips. Let me show you what I mean. The first habit is eat until you are 80% full. Now, think about this. In most cultures, including mine growing up, we eat until we are 100% full. We finish everything on the plate. We go back for seconds, and by the time our brain catches up and says, I am full, we have already overeaten by 20 to 30%. You eat slowly, you pay attention to your body, and you stop just before you feel full. That small gap, that 20%, is where the magic happens. Here is the science. When you consistently overeat, even by a little, your body produces excess insulin. And insulin is literally the hormone that tells your body to store fat, especially visceral fat. By simply stopping at 80%, you lower your insulin response and your body shifts from fat storage mode to fat maintenance mode. And here is how you actually do it. 1. Use smaller plate. It sounds too simple, but study shows people eat 22% lesser with smaller plates without feeling deprived. 2. Put your chopsticks or fork down between bites. This slows you down enough for your brain's satiety signal to catch up. 3. Before your meal, take one deep breath and silently say Hara Hachi Bu to yourself. This is what Okinawans do. It sets an intention. It reminds your brain, today I stop at 80%. Whether you are having lunch at your desk between meetings or enjoying a quiet dinner at home, this works the same way. It doesn't require special food, special timing, just a moment of mindful awareness. Now, Hara Hachi Bu controls how much you eat, But what about what you eat? Because Okinawans don't just eat less, they eat differently. And this leads me to the next habit. Habit number 2 is the Okinawan eating philosophy called Ichiju-Sansai, which translates to one soup, three sides. And this is something that genuinely excited me because it naturally aligns with plant-forward lifestyle. Here is how a typical Okinawan meal looks. One bowl of miso soup and 3 small side dishes, mostly vegetables, tofu, sweet potato, and seaweed. The emphasis is on variety, color, and plants. About 90% of the traditional Okinawan diet comes from whole food plant-based. Now, what does this matter for visceral fat? Whole food plant-based diets are naturally high in fiber, and fiber does something incredible for visceral fat. It feeds your gut bacteria, which produce short-chain fatty acids that directly reduce visceral fat inflammation. A study found that for every 10 grams of soluble fiber you add daily, visceral fat decreases by 3.7% over 5 years without any other changes. Here is how I adapt this as a vegetarian. You can do it too if you are not fully vegetarian. Think of your plate this way: 1 warm soup and 3 small colorful sides. Miso soup with tofu and seaweed, a small potato side. Okinawans eat purple sweet potato almost daily, steamed greens with a splash of sesame, a small portion of fermented vegetables like kimchi or pickled radish. You don't need to find Japanese ingredients. Use what is available in your local market. The principle is the same: 1 warm liquid, 3 plant heavy sides, and a variety of colors on your plate. Now we are eating the right amount and the right foods. But Okinawans don't just sit around after eating. Their approach to movements leads to habit number 3, which needs zero gym equipment and works at any fitness level. Okinawans don't do high-intensity workouts. They don't have gym memberships. Instead, they walk naturally throughout their day, gardening, walking to the market, and this constant, gentle movement is actually more effective at burning visceral fat than intense exercise. But there is a specific walking technique from Japan that takes this even further. It is called Japanese interval walking. Here is how it works. You alternate between 3 minutes of brisk walking, like you are late for an appointment, and 3 minutes of slow, comfortable walking. You repeat this for 15 to 30 minutes. Research shows interval walkings improve metabolic syndrome markers and reduces abdominal fat more than continuous walking. Alternating intensity supports fat burning without raising the stress hormone cortisol linked to visceral fat. Here is your action step. Tomorrow morning or after dinner, go for a 15 minutes walk. For the first 3 minutes, walk at pace where you can still talk and you are slightly breathless. Then slow down for 3 minutes. Repeat. That's it. If you have knee issues, even doing this at a slower pace works. The key is the alternation between faster and slower, not the absolute speeds. A 60-year-old and a 35-year-old will walk at different speeds, but the principle is same. Now, the first 3 habits focus on your body, how much you eat, what you eat, and how you move. What is happening in your mind matters just as much, because stress doesn't just feel bad, it keeps fat around your organs. Which brings me to one of the most powerful concepts in Japanese culture. Habit number 4 is Ikigai, your reason for being, your sense of purpose. In Okinawa, centenarians have a clear Ikigai, the reason they wake up and get out of bed with energy even at 95. Now, you might be wondering, what does purpose have to do with belly fat? Everything. Why? Because purpose reduces chronic stress, and chronic stress elevates cortisol, the hormone we just talked about, which directly causes visceral fat storage, especially around the midsection. When you have an Ikigai, you are not just surviving each day, you are engaged, you are motivated, you are less likely to stress it, and your cortisol levels naturally stay lower throughout the day. Here is the beautiful things about Ikigai. It evolves with your life. At 35, your Ikigai might be building a meaningful career and raising healthy kids. At 50, it might be mentoring others or mastering a skill you always wanted to learn. At 65, it might be contributing to your communities or watching your grandchildren grow. There is no wrong answer, but there is one simple exercise to find yours. Tonight, before bed, write down the answer to these 3 questions. Number 1, what activities make me lose track of time? Number 2, what would I do even if nobody paid me? Number 3, what do people often come to me for help with? Those answers overlap, that is your Ikigai. And when you live from that place, losing visceral fat becomes a side effect of living with purpose rather than a daily battle with willpower. So now you have the eating, the movement, and the mindset. But here is what ties everything together. The final habit is called Moai. And this is one most people overlook because it doesn't sound like a fat loss tip. But stay with me. A Moai is a community social group, a circle of people who meet regularly to support each other through life. And here is why this matters for visceral fat. Loneliness and social isolation increase cortisol by up to 20%, and we have established that cortisol is the primary factors of visceral fat storage. In other words, your relationships are literally medicine for your belly. Here is how you can start your own Moai, even this week. Text 3 friends or family members and say, I want to start a weekly health check-in. Just 30 minutes. We pick one topic. We share, we support. Are you in? If you can't find 3 people in your life right now, here is the good news. This community right here can be your own Moai. Every videos we learn together. Every comment sections we support each other. So here is what I want you to do. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 habits you are committing to this week. Make it public. Make it your commitment. Because this is exactly what a Moai does. It turns private intentions into shared commitments. This is why Okinawans don't struggle with visceral fat. It is not one magic food or one secret exercise. It is a lifestyle where every piece supports every other piece. And the beautiful thing, you don't need to be in Okinawa to do this. You don't need to be Japanese. You don't need to be a certain age. You can start with just one of these habits tonight. I'm not just sharing these ideas, I practice them too. I meet with my own Moai group. Last week, we talked about structure, how the environment around us shapes our habits more than willpower does. We share our challenges, celebrate our small wins, and most importantly, we hold each other accountable. And that support makes healthy habits much easier to stick to. So, if you want to learn how your environment and daily structure can help you lose visceral fat naturally, click on this video next. Now, if you found this helpful, share it, subscribe, and hit the notification buttons so you won't miss out my future videos.